gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, June 30th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. A hot, sunny Monday here in the Quad Cities, but a big Monday because John Deere Classic Week is officially here. We're going to get to all that in just a second. We want to welcome everybody watching on YouTube. We appreciate that. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, click the button. Do so. Help us out. We appreciate that as well. We are live on X. X has been very, very good to us. And of course, you can check out all of the shows on all of the podcasting platforms as well. So make sure you check us out. Audio version, a lot better than visual version, especially today, considering some of the guests that we have coming your way. But it should be a really, really fun show. Coming up, we mentioned the John Deere Classic. John Deere Classic Week is officially here. The Pro-Am is on Wednesday. On Thursday, play begins for real. We will officially preview the entire John Deere Classic coming up in a matter of moments with three of the best. Craig DeVrieze, Tom Johnston, and Todd Hajduk will be along with us. Todd is the general manager out at Deere Run as well. So we're going to get to everything. Talk about the strength of the field, why it continues to get better and better, who the winner will be this year. We'll give you the picks on that. We'll give you some sleepers, some young players to keep an eye on. A lot to get to coming up. We'll get your John Deere Classic preview coming your way in just a matter of moments. Speaking of the John Deere Classic, OTA will be out at the John Deere Classic for shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're super excited about that. A lot of fun things coming up out at the John Deere Classic. So we will get back out to the course on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. Excited about our location, all those kind of things. So we'll get you more information about that in the next couple days as we get ready for the John Deere Classic. And then, of course, I want to let everyone know it's officially open. The OTA John Deere Classic Pick'em contest is up and running. The winner, for right now, the winner gets a T-flag signed by last year's John Deere Classic champion, Davis Thompson, and a Davis Thompson bobblehead as well. We'll probably add a few more things to the package as well, but right there, that enough is worth its price of admission. So it's really easy. Go to my social media, go to Facebook, or go to X, and simply put, I'll add a post up there here in a little bit, and just give me your winner and the final score. Winner is what's important. The final score will be at the tiebreaker. So if you think Luke Clanton's going to win the John Deere Classic, hop on to Facebook, toss that on the thread. You're signed up, ready to go. If he wins, you win, and you win some cool stuff here. Unless somebody else picks him, then we'll do the tiebreaker, all that kind of stuff. So the first OTA John Deere Classic Pick'em contest, we want to thank the John Deere Classic for their donation of the prize as well. And we'll be heading out that way, believe it or not. It's a busy week in the Quad Cities, one of my favorite weeks of the year. So we'll do a lot of shows from out there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, as I mentioned, some familiar faces along the way. So make sure you tuned in throughout the rest of the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We have the preview coming up in just a little bit. Also, coming up in hour number 2, Tom Kakert will join us. Some interesting stuff last week, I should say, in Iowa City. I was off Thursday and Friday for youth baseball. So we'll get caught up with Tom with some Hawkeye news and notes. And then also FanDuel today put out, I think, 3 of Iowa's lines for their games this year. I think Iowa State, Penn State, and maybe another. So anyways, we'll talk to Tom Kakert about all that coming up in hour number 2 of the show. And then also, I got a little Randazzo's rant to get off my chest. A lot of people noticed on my social media this weekend, I put something up on, two things. One really good on Saturday we'll talk about, and then one yesterday that we'll get to involving youth baseball and umpires and coaches and fans that are idiots and all those kind of things. So we'll get to that coming up later on in hour number 2 as well. But before we get going with our John Deere Classic preview, I want to catch up on some news and notes from the past weekend. As I mentioned, it was a long weekend for me. I was in Indiana watching my 10-year-old Chase play baseball. But good news over the weekend for the Quad Cities were the Quad City Steamwheelers, they knocked off Mass 56-35 on Saturday evening. They're now 10-3. That officially clinches a playoff spot for the Wheelers. So congrats to them, of course, looking to continue to secure even more, some home playoff games especially coming up in the next few weeks. But step by step, they get the job done, played extremely well, winning 56-35 over Mass. Of course, we'll get to the Steamwheelers coming up later this week, Steamwheeler Wednesday, sponsored by XUSD. We'll talk some Steamwheelers coming up then, but congrats to the Wheelers. Also, breaking this morning, there will be 3 new WNBA franchises. The 3 cities that will get them, Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Detroit, will be the 3 teams, or the 3 cities getting expansion WNBA franchises. Of course, WNBA as popular as ever. Well, tons more popular than ever. Caitlin Clark, a big reason for that. Caitlin missing the last couple games for the Fever. We'll see her health when she gets back on the floor. And then, of course, we're talking golf. John Deere Classic coming up this week. Before we get to the golf coming up this week, we got to look back at a crazy weekend on the PGA Tour, and it was up in Detroit, the Rocket Classic, and it's 20-year-old Aldrich Potgieter winning a 3-golfer playoff. Got down to 2 players, 5 holes. But that was your winning putt, the 20-year-old winning on tour for the first time ever, Aldrich Potgieter. And he'll be heading to the John Deere Classic coming up this week as well. So we'll see if he can go back-to-back. But he's a young golfer that I believe Celia Palermo, when she was on the show, mentioned a couple times. Maybe at least once when she's been on the show as well. So got to give Celia her due. We'll catch up with Celia, of course, this week. She's back in the Quad Cities for the John Deere Classic as well. So congratulations to Aldrich Potgieter as he gets his way, or heads to the John Deere Classic now, a winner on the PGA Tour. As he won in Detroit yesterday, a 5-hole playoff. Of course, John Deere Classic week is officially here, so I assembled some of the best yesterday. We chatted last night and did a little roundtable preview on what's to come with the John Deere Classic this week. It should be a fun, entertaining time when it comes to the John Deere Classic, and I am stretching as I look to find the John Deere Classic preview that I'm supposed to be rolling right now. But as we mentioned, coming up, get into the John Deere Classic pick'em contest as well. That's going to be a ton of fun to see who wins that as well. So I have my picks coming up for the John Deere Classic as well, and a lot of interesting picks and a lot of interesting chatter last night as we talked to our prestigious panel of experts as I continue to stretch as I find exactly what I need to find. There's those knuckleheads. So anyways, we did get a chance to chat with 3 of the best last night to get you set for this coming week and the John Deere Classic. So let's break down this year's John Deere Classic with my panel of experts here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And I use the term expert quotes, right? Loosely, very loose. Actually, I have to be nice to these guys before we start, because when it comes to, first off, covering golf in the Quad Cities, I don't know, do you two, Craig and TJ, do you guys have like 100 years of experience or something like that?
Pretty damn close.
I think I'm 41 this year.
TJ, you're 40, aren't you? Or what are you?
Oh, I go back to 82.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not doing math in my head, but that's
33.
Oh, you get to 82. I get to go back to 84. That's I'm calling bull. I'm calling.
All right.
Part time at the Argus, dude. Started when I was in school.
Just because you were delivering papers in the morning doesn't mean you were covering the John Deere Classic.
I can agate.
Hey, I still have to deliver papers to be able to afford to live.
All right. Well, this is Craig DeVrieze right below me, Tom Johnston, caddy corner to me, and then right next to me is the general manager of TPC Deer Run, Todd Hajduk. Guys, and I said this before we came on, one of the greatest golfers in the Quad Cities, first and foremost. Let's get that out of the way. We golfed on John Deere Classic Media Day, and Todd and Claire Peterson carried us. But great to get some insight. Todd, thank you for being the civilized one joining us and not yelling and screaming right off the bat.
That's right. You're welcome. glad to be
So we got a lot to talk about, gentlemen, because John Deere Classic Week is here. It is arguably my favorite week of the year. Actually, not arguably. It's my favorite week of the year. It's hands down the best tradition in the Quad Cities, and we got a lot to get to. And I'm going to start with you, Todd, because you're living out there. You're at that place, that course. It's been interesting with some weather and heat and all that kind of stuff. As we hit Deer Week, what is that course like right now as we get ready to welcome the world's best golfers?
Yeah. Thanks, Dazzo. I mean, it's great. Everything's in good shape, good form. The weather has been a bit of a challenge, and then you get the humidity and the high temps right now. But Jonathan and the team are doing an incredible job. They're working their butts off. So really impressed with that. Greens are fast right now. Probably we're going to be going at about 12 to 12 and a half for the week. Rough's up about 4. Probably going to get to 4.5, 5 maybe. Depends on where we're going to play out the weather the rest of this week. And we already had players show up today, so it's nice to see their feedback and making some comments about the course. And just really proud of the team that we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to get some predictions and kind of maybe some numbers from you guys in a second on what people have to do. Go ahead,
before
Greg.
we go much farther, can I just say what a good-looking and just absolutely fantastic human being Todd is, because he's now my boss. And so just let me get that out of the way real quick. So
wow. Well, nice plug, Craig. Nice plug, Craig.
So is that a thing?
Are you sending hugs and kisses too, Craig?
No, just the typical ass kissing that
just smooches. Okay, I got you.
It's what you do, I guess, when you I guess TC's out there. I know Tom Sigel's out there. Now Craig's out there. Yeah. You're taking the best of the best. Maybe, I don't know if that's exactly what it is.
I'm not going to make any inappropriate comments. Pickings are slim, I could say, but I'm not going to say that.
Bottom of the barrel.
Hey. Yeah, well, Craig's listen, at the end of the day, Craig is a great historian. He tells our story very, very well. So we're grateful to have him.
No, absolutely. So we'll go to that great historian. And I've read that he was at Student Studio and everything. I've read this book. It's a fantastic book. Magic Happened. Make sure you check it out, especially this week if you're getting ready for the John Deere Classic. It's a great read to get ready for the JDC. But Craig,
you can find that now. I'm posting, thanks to the largesse of Andrew and Deere and Company. I'm sharing that book out on my Substack blog, QC Sports Histories, and tomorrow, chapter 14, one of my favorite chapters. It's about the sponsors exemptions. It's about the quality of the field. That it's my passionate defense of what we have here and why it's great. And so that'll be up. You can find it on my Facebook page. You can find it on QC Sports Histories at Substack.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So go check it out. You've been doing that. And what is this chapter? What did you say chapter it was?
I put chapter 12 and chapter 13. 13 was an accident because my IT guy didn't schedule it correctly. And full disclosure, I don't have an IT guy. I'm the idiot.
No, I was going to say I'm impressed with the IT guy. Craig, we mentioned, so obviously the book, you've covered it for a long, long time. Before we get into like the field and all those kind of things, what is this week like? I know you'll be out there covering it for PGA Tour. What is it like to get back out this week? What are the vibes? What are the feels? And I know you're very passionate about it. What great an event this year's.
The vibes and the feels are the same as are described by every volunteer who's ever donated weeks and years of their lives to making this thing a great event and making it the kind of hometown event that has raised going on $200 million if through Birdies for Charity, and it's Old Home Week. It's the best week of the year in the Quad Cities. It's the best sporting event that we have. It's our turn in the major leagues. It's on CBS. We've had great champions, and it's just it's just something that it's a long grind, but it's a long, passionate grind. And I go back to hours at the Dispatch when we used to publish in the morning or in the afternoons, and so we'd be there till 4 o'clock in the morning writing our stories and reading through them and getting them the way we thought they needed to be, and probably only 15, 20 errors per story by the time we were done. And then, back at it, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning out at the golf course. So just obviously it's the best thing. And everybody here knows that. And I think more and more of the Quad Cities really appreciate what it is. And I just want to say this before we go much farther. We got 6 more at least through 2030. We kicked Liv's ass, and we're still here. We're going. John Deere's coming back through 2030, and what John Deere does for this community, they know how to leverage the tournament. They make it work for them. It's a great event for marketing, but it's also a great event for their home community, the community that grew up around John Deere's plow. So just want to say thank you, John Deere, before we go any farther.
Absolutely. No, and anytime we can kick anybody's ass here on OTA, we're kicking ass. And that's what the John Deere Classic and the PGA Tour has done. TJ, before we get rolling with it too, it's a hectic – I mean, I remember it, and it's different for me this year because this was always like the calm before the storm. And Sunday or the weekend before the John Deere Classic, like my kids and wife knew to get away from me because like while we didn't have anything to do, like I was going to be cranky. And it's an exciting time, but it's also – there's like a marathon to be run for you this week. So kind of take me through your thoughts as we get going into this week, because a lot of work to be done, but it's good to be working on something that you love.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just it. Playing off of what Craig said, this is a labor of love, from Deere sponsorship down to everybody at the tournament, to everybody at the TPC network, down to all of us and every volunteer that, donates hours and hours out there. It's a labor of love. Everybody looks forward to this week, and you know it's going to be a grind, and you kind of have some angst going into it. But man, when it's over, you're like, damn, I wish it lasted a couple more days.
Yeah, it's one of those things when it gets done, it's a deep breath, but it's an excited deep breath as you kind of look back at what just happened here in the Quad Cities. And what's happening in the Quad Cities is we have a fantastic field once they coming to this John Deere Classic. And I guess I'll start with you, Craig. When you look at the field in general, what pops out? What's the headlines when you look at this year's 2025 John Deere Classic field?
Well, what's happened is we've got by my count, 4 top 30 players since Daniel Berger has stepped out. This in the FedEx Cup rankings, and then we've got another 65 from 30 through 100, and it is exactly what Peter Malnati, when I talked to him as the the reaction to the Live Tour was ongoing, and they were creating the elevated events. He said the tour showed him numbers that that the $1 million events were going to actually strengthen the field of tournaments like the John Deere, and that was his passion. That was his intent. He wanted to represent the journeyman on tour, and he wanted to represent the smaller tournaments on tour like the Deere and the Sanderson Farm Classics and the events that have been part of this tour since 1971 in our case, and I think that's true of Sanderson Farms as well. So, number 2, there's nobody that's been around longer than us other than AT&T and the Pebble Beach. Obviously, the Texas tournaments have been around, but they haven't had the run of the duration of a sponsorship that we have. So it's pretty amazing.
TJ, you look back at maybe 3-4 years ago, and the strength of the field. I looked at something this weekend, and in the last 3 years, the John Deere Classic has moved from the weakest strength of field of the PGA Tour regular event in 2022 to the strongest projected strength of field that the John Deere Classic has had in the OWGR era. Like, that's how quickly it was when you look back 3 years ago. You have the familiar faces and the defending champions and the Zach Johnsons and all those kind of things, but the strength of this field continues to get bigger and bigger. Craig kind of touched on it, but what is it for you that you see this field continuing? I thought last year's was really strong. I don't know what you guys think, but I think this year's is maybe even a little bit better. no Jordan Spieth, no huge name, but Ricky, Max Homa, those guys kind of carry the bigger names, and then the strength is there when it comes to the quality of golfers.
Well, it's just it's a conglomeration of the tour right now. I mean, you look at last week's Rocket Classic. You had a 3-man playoff. You had a 20-year-old, you had a 30-year-old, and you had a 40-year-old in the playoff. And that's kind of the tour in a nutshell right now. You've got the veterans who we have represented in this field. You've got the guys, the 30-somethings trying to hang on against the 20-somethings who are coming in. And I think it's those 20-somethings who make this field what it is again this year. We've got the top 3 amateurs in the world playing here this week.
Again,
And,
that's not uncommon.
No, but you look at what these youngsters, if people are smart enough, they don't look at who is in the field now and gauge it by current standards. You look at the youngsters and watch what they do after they get their starts here, because we are going to have the best players in the world in the next 2, 3, 4 years who have been playing here in our backyard, and that goes back to, even Spieth's first trip here.
Yeah.
The guys are getting their starts here, and people need to pay attention because these guys are good and they're the future of the PGA Tour. So, it's amazing what can come out of this field within the next couple of years. And I think that's what people need to pay attention to.
TJ, was that breaking news?
It is, but
What's
I'll
the
get
scoop?
back to it.
Okay, I was gonna say, what's the
I'm,
scoop?
I'm giving you my full attention, Randazzo.
I love it.
That's
I love
how
it.
much I like. No, I got it.
That's how much
Hold
you
on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's how much you tolerate me.
Well, I would just want to interject this. To DJ's point. You look at the exemptions that we've had in this field. It's the Colin Morikawas, it's the Victor Hovlands, it's the, it goes all, there's
It goes back to Jason Day even.
Well, there's 9.
Right.
There's 9 sponsors exempt players who have won major championships, dating back to Tiger Woods in 1996, and they've won multiple major championships. And it's a credit to the launching pad nature of the John Deere Classic, and to Claire, to Kim, to Claire Peterson, Kim Huffam, and now Andrew, recognizing that you reach out to these amateurs when they're young, and you get them here for a taste of what the tournament can be, and people get a chance to see the guys that are going to be world number ones. Again, I did a little math here, did a little study. We've got dating back to the advent of the OWGR. We've had 15 of the 26 players who have been number 1 in the world have played here. And many of them more than once, and 5 were sponsors exemptions, and that includes John Rahm, it includes JT, Justin Thomas, it includes Tiger Woods, obviously, it includes Spieth, it includes Jay Day. It's an amazing, it's a formula for success, and it's a heck of an opportunity for one of the smallest statistical markets in the nation to come out and see the players who are the equivalent, can be and do become the equivalent of the LeBron James and I'm going to say Jason Tatum because I'm a Celtics fan, but it's greatness, and it's greatness in our backyard, and it's amazing to have that opportunity to see it. And last year, Luke Clanton was here on a sponsors exemption. He finished second. He's now got his PGA Tour card because he was on his way to earning it through the PGA Tour University Accelerated, and he tied with Michael Thorpe Johnston and for second. And these are great players, and they're going to be great players for a long time to come.
Yeah, and I think you could see, we'll get to picks in a little bit, both those guys you just mentioned could do something this week as well. Todd, I know that, I'll tell people, and to TJ's point a little bit, when the NFL selects their draft, or they go to the NFL draft, the next day there's the grades. and like this is how this team did. And people can't look at a draft class and say that's what it is. They have to look like 2 or 3 years down the line. I think that's the way it is with Fields of the John Deere Classic, where like kind of to TJ's point, yeah, they're good to watch now, but go watch them now because you're going to find out how good this field really was maybe in 2-3 years when they continue to get better and better, kind of like the NFL draft. And I want to throw a little credit, and we talked about the tournament directors we've had here in the Quad Cities, and they've been nothing but fantastic. But the fields are getting better. There's reasons why, but you got to give some love to Andrew Lehman as well. He's a guy who took this thing over, and we'll talk about constants on the course and all that kind of stuff because several people thought he was crazy when he started doing that, and they're outstanding. But you got to give credit to where credit's due. I mean, Andrew's the tournament director, and the fields continue to get better and better. He's working his butt off too.
Yeah, no, I'm going to jump on there. So, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. He's working very hard. I think it does have a lower correlation to do with what's happening with the changing that's happening next year, right? Players are figuring out that, hey, it's going to be more competitive next year. It's going to be more difficult to retain my card. So I think players are jockeying for position, and we're a beneficiary of that. We've always had struggles to get this kind of fields here. But Andrew's done a tremendous job. He's done a great job of networking and collaborating with his folks. And this field is, as good as we've had it in a long time. So I'm impressed by it, and kudos to Andrew and the team. But I think it has a little bit, you can throw your hat on a little bit what's happening for the next few years, what's changing with the tour, right? What they have done now goes from 125 down to 100. Man, it's going to be tough. We're going to have names that aren't going to have tour cards. It's going to blow our mind next year. What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's going to be the field looks outstanding. Of course, a lot of people talk about that Champions House. Does it have to be? I mean, 3 of the last 3 winners have been from the Champions House, the Airbnb out in Geneseo, I believe it is. Some really talented guys going back there again. I don't want to get picks yet, but when you look so I guess Craig. Young guns we've kind of talked about, but there's some guys that have been here for a while that come back and play here well every single year. The beauty part of the John Deere Classic is it's very rarely a runaway. You know what I mean? It's very rarely magic happens is for a reason. When you start stacking this thing up for this week, where do you start when it comes to guys you like and veterans, young guns, all that kind of stuff? Don't give me a winner yet.
Well, I would just say, you're going to ask us to pick a winner, and it's just impossible. Davis Thompson was not something was really. He had a great week the week before, and he had a great Open a couple weeks before that, and he was trending. But not everybody was looking at at Davis Thompson at the start of the week. People weren't looking at Sepp Straka a week ago or 2 years ago. They certainly weren't looking at
JT Poston before that either. So,
and they weren't looking at Sepp on Thursday when he shot a 72. But amazingly, he's now number 3 in the FedEx Cup and way up there in the world rankings. He'll be a stud at Bethpage Black and could be a real pain in the butt for Keegan Bradley and the U.S. Ryder Cup side. I would just say, when you say we don't know who these young guys are, we actually do. We had. Jordan Spieth had flashed dating back to when he was 16 and finished 4th at the Dallas tournament, the Byron Nelson. But now we know these guys even better. You well remember, Matt, when Hovland and Morikawa and Matt Wolff came through here. We knew who they were because 2 of them, Wolff had just won the day before in Minneapolis, and Morikawa finished 2nd, and Hovland gave us. To answer to your question, the best quote we've ever gotten in the media center.
Yes.
Stay the weed. He was a favorite because people know these guys.
Yes.
That's the thing. Junior golf, it's the Tiger effect. He has brought athletic talent to the sport of golf that didn't exist before he arrived and made golf what he did to golf what Caitlin Clark is doing to the WNBA and what Jordan did to the NBA. He grew the sport, and these guys are the byproduct of that. And so Jackson Coyban, who's already got his card, he can turn pro tomorrow if he wanted to. He's not going to. He's coming back for golf. Luke Clanton did the same thing last year. He could have turned pro. He just finished in the top 5 at Detroit, and he was 2nd here, and I asked him the day before, hey, if you win tomorrow, are you turning pro? And he said, no, I'm going to go back and try to win a national championship at Florida State. They've got NIL money. They've got a sport that's getting more competitive by the minute. They've got PGA Tour University, which gives them on-ramps to the tour before they even think about turning pro. And PGA Tour Accelerated, which is how Koiven's got his card. It's how Clanton's got his card. And the game has changed, and these young players are name quantities, and they're coming here now. We get to go watch them, and you have every reason to want to go watch Jackson Koiven play golf, just like you had every reason last year to go watch Luke Clanton, just like you had every reason to watch Jordan Spieth back in 2013 and even 2012. So,
well, feeding off of that, Craig, we also have the Golf Channel now televising college events, so the general public knows who these kids are. You get a flavor of them, and that's why they're tested so well. They're playing national events on television just like the pros are. I mean, these guys are getting more exposure than the Korn Ferry Tour players because they're still in college. And because of the NIL, they're probably getting better pay than the Korn Ferry Tour players. So it's a totally different, like you say, on-ramp for these guys to get to the PGA Tour now.
Absolutely.
And I do want to interject. I got to get this line in. The PGA Tour was the Eldrick Tour at one point. Are we going to the Aldrich version of the PGA Tour now after his win Sunday in that playoff?
Not as long as Scotty Scheffler's alive.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
right.
point.
Yeah,
Good point.
that guy's pretty.
And not as
pretty
long
good.
as Colin Morikawa's alive. Not as long as Victor Hovland is if he stops fiddling with his swing. There's so many good players. I mean, Luke Clanton could be the next winner of 5 major championships in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
how good
That's
these
why-
guys are. And that's how fearless
Yeah.
they're coming out. They are honed. They
Yes.
are ready, and they say it every time they come here. College golf has prepared me for this moment. And Luke Clanton said it on Wednesday last year, and then went out and proved it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, these guys are good.
I got to point out before we move on that the sunset behind Todd is beautiful. Like, I don't know if you guys can see
Am I
it,
going
but
dark?
you're
I
going
going dark?
you're going a little dark. If you gotta look at that, look how gorgeous that is. I mean, it's amazing. So if you got turn your light on your phone, turn your flashlight on your phone. I made Anger do that the other day too, and then we can see a little bit better. But if not, we don't need to see you to hear. Look at that. There you go. Now he's telling us
Todd
stories.
looks like he's a character in the year 2000 on Conan O'Brien.
He looks like that. Looks a lot. There you go. He's either going to tell us a ghost story or he's going to. No, but I do want to double down.
Why
So
is
I
it
don't.
so much darker on the Iowa side than Craig is on the Illinois side?
I know it's weird,
What's
but
going on here?
Craig's going to be dark here in a
The sun
second.
shines
Anyways.
here at West East Moline.
So I don't know if you guys have looked at I like to gamble, and everybody here on the show watches the show knows that the odds to win this year's John Deere Classic. Has anybody taken a peek yet?
Nope.
No,
Okay, so I'll go around. Todd, I'll start with you. Who do you think the odds-on favorite on the sports book is to win this year's John Deere Classic? We'll go around to everybody. I'll start with Todd.
I would say, I think Ben Griffin.
TJ, what's your guess?
He took mine. Jason Day.
Now, and Craig, you were nodding. So you.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ben Griffin is really playing good golf, and props to this kid for coming when he's got basically everything sewed up but a Ryder Cup berth. And I have no doubt in my mind that's what he's coming for. And that's pretty impressive. I'd like to see guys like Brian Harmon, Maverick McNeely, Sam Burns, Patrick Cantley, Tony Finau, guys who are down that list who have every reason to come and try to get the 18,000 points that the winner is going to walk out of here in Ryder Cup points and really enhance their opportunity to be a Bethpage Black in September. So Ben Griffin's he's if you're talking about a guy who's in form, and he's had some decent performances here too. He's certainly got to be, when you talk about odds on favor, he's not my pick, but he's probably unquestionably the odds-on favorite.
So Ben Griffin is plus 1,400. Jason Day is next. So whoever threw out Jason Day, I think that was TJ, it's plus 2,000. Davis Thompson to repeat is plus 2,800. Luke Clanton is tied with him at plus 2,800. So those are your top four when it comes to Vegas. It goes through to Sunjay, Siwoo Kim, Michael Thornbornson, JT Poston, and down we go. So that's kind of the way, and it's funny, and you already brought it up, Craig, as he's relighting up. Gosh, he lives a good life, doesn't he, out there in East Moline? What's wrong with us? I got Gatorade.
That's a good life there too. Thanks, Duke.
What's wrong, TJ? We got to step up our lifestyles a little bit. We got to go outside and live a little bit. So with that being said,
out of this business, that's all there is to it.
So and I'm glad Craig brought that up, because that's the way it's been for a while. The younger guys on tour, that was when Victor Hovland came. He was the odds-on favorite to win the John Deere Classic that year. Now they're not this year. Those sponsors exemptions aren't, and I think that speaks to how good the field's been getting, because there's some really good golfers in it. So we'll start. I gave you guys all homework. We'll start with who's going to win the John Deere Classic. We'll go clockwise. So I'll go back to Todd. If you had to pick this year's John Deere Classic winner, who would it be and why?
Well, it was going to be Ben Griffin, just because I think he's trending so well right now. But I mean, I haven't picked a second place for that because I had other homework to do.
You don't have to. You can pick Ben Griffin if that's who you think you will win.
I'm sticking with Ben. I'll make it easy. Ben Griffin, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. TJ, your thoughts on who's going to win in this year's John Deere Classic?
That's a good pick. I'm not going to go with Ben Griffin just because Duke did. I think JT Poston is going to win number 2.
Okay. So we got TJ down for a reason why?
Great initials, just in the wrong order.
That's all we need. That's why.
What else? You could use any rationale you want to pick
TJ,
a winner, and it's not going to matter anyways. So.
40 damn years of covering this event, and that's what you come up with for your. They don't call them the best in the business for nothing. Tom Johnston, everybody. Craig,
I've tried every other method, and it's never worked. So
Craig,
I got to try something different.
Craig, who wins this John Deere Classic and at the end? Who's hoisting that trophy on Sunday?
I am not a gambler. I never get it right. One year I picked Chris Kirk. He missed the cut, and then he won the next week. That's as close as I can hope to get. But 2 of the last 4 winners came in hot. JT Poston was coming off bookend 61s at Hartford, and then he went wire to wire here. Last year, Davis Thompson was T9 at the Open, and then went to Detroit and was T2, played in the last group on Sunday. You look at that leaderboard at Detroit today, and 5 of the 6 guys on the front page are in the field. The only one who's not was Greiserman. I'm going with Michael Thorbjornsen. I think he's a really talented young guy. Finished top 10 at Hartford as a teenager, and then went on, and he won the PGA Tour University to get his card. Came here last year, finished second. So Michael Thorbjornsen, I'm going to say.
You took my pick.
Yeah, good call.
You took my pick, Craig. Unreal. I'm
happy to hear that.
No, you're not, because that means it's not going to happen. But
right.
For everything that Craig so eloquently said is the reason why I had him. Really liked the way he's played here well last year. Luke Clanton as well. Just because of the way he played last year, I think he's really, really good. And I can see I always look at it. Yeah, you want to pick the right winner, but I always look at it as, I don't know if it's as cliche saying who will look good on the billboard going down John Deere Road, but like there's guys that you want to win as a member of this community and golf's next big gun and all those kind of things. And I'll always go back to, and everybody remembers it, the playoff when Jordan Spieth was in it with Zach Johnson and oh my gosh.
David Hearn.
David Hearn, thank you. I was gonna use the nickname we gave him in the trailer, but that would have been very mean, so I'm not gonna do that. But I remember seeing Claire, and I remember I said, "Hey Claire, he might get mad that I say this. I don't think he will. And I'm like, who are you rooting for? And he goes, I tell you who I'm not rooting for. And like, I don't think he mean it in a mean way, but like, I think everybody was like, hey, here's Zach. We'd love that. Here's Jordan Spieth. And like, we would joke the next year. Like you go back to the playoff hole on 17. I don't know what number it was, but Hearn had maybe a 7-footer to win it.
Yeah, not even 5.
Yeah. And I'll never forget Andy McKay, one of the best golf photographers there is, had a close up, and he was just shooting Zach and Jordan as he got ready to make the putt as Hearn got ready, and they both had their hats off, hands like this, and they like you watch them go like this, and then put their hats, kind of shrug, put their hats on and go. And that's how close we are to having David Hearn. No offense to David Hearn. So like, that's what I always think of when it comes to winning this thing, is like what will look good. And I think Luke Clanton would look great on the billboard and all those kind of things. So, okay. Those are kind of the bigger names.
The best event that the absolutely coolest thing that ever happened at the John Deere Classic was Jordan Spieth coming here and winning with two of the first 2 majors in the bag. The only guy who'd ever won 3 the first 3 majors in a year was Ben Hogan, and he was going over to St. Andrews to try to join his fellow Texan,
and almost did it.
Really rare piece.
Yeah.
And he beat a guy named Tom Gillis.
Tommy Two Gloves.
No, that's Tommy.
Nope.
That's not.
I thought Gillis used. No, never mind then.
Gainey.
Never mind.
Tommy Gainey, yeah.
Gotcha.
Tom Gillis was a journeyman from Michigan. Played his butt off that week, and Jordan.
He might as well have been Ed Fiore, for Christ's sakes.
Would have been. Here, let's talk about right guy winners, and that's definitely what's happened over the years. You had Stricker, he beat. I can't remember who he beat with the walk-off win. Stanley.
Kyle Stanley. That was Craig, real fast. That was the first time that I heard a loud or a noticeable applause when somebody missed a putt. Like when you were on 18 and he missed that putt and everybody was rooting for Stricker. So you've heard a few like they were happy that he missed it because they wanted Strick to win so bad. So go ahead. Yeah. Kyle Stanley.
But Claire makes the case that this is a byproduct of the stretch run that D.A. Wybring created on the back 9 at Deere Run. That golf course produces good champions. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau emerged against Patrick Rogers, a good player with a little history here. But there's no question that, looking back, Bryson DeChambeau, a 2-time major winner now, was the more accomplished champion. Spieth beat Tom Gillis and David Hearn and some hack named Zach. And Stricker beat Paul Goidos in 2029 when they Goidos had shot the 59 and Stricker came back with the 60 the next day and Ryan Moore winning against coming down the stretch on his way to being the Ryder Cup hero. That was another case of the right guy winning. It happens here, and it happens on that stretch run. Spieth's 2 wins. He birdied 4 of the last 6 holes and 5 of the last 6 holes to get in playoffs. And so that's the kind of thrills that DA's stretch run produced there at a golf course called what, Todd? Yeah. Is that TPC Deere Run? Yeah. They have great starters there now, by the way.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the best or the big names, the odds-on favorites. Give me a sleeper, somebody that might not, like I just mentioned, be in the odds-on favorite and all that kind of stuff that you can see hop in here and win this thing. We'll go reverse order this time. We'll go Craig first and then back around since he raised his hand so politely. Go ahead, Craig.
Well, yeah, because I got a great line. I want to say Kim. Can I have Kim? That gives me 4 guys.
All 5 of them?
I like the way you did that.
I think you can't count out Michael. He's been playing good golf
playing
lately.
Great golf, and he's a Twitter king, and he's until last year he had the course record, and he beat Francisco Molinari by 8 shots in 2018, 18, and
18, yeah.
Molinari went over and won the British Open. So
British Open
yeah, Mike
next
Kim's,
week. Yep.
Mike Kim's a good pick. But if you want to talk about sleepers, I got to go with Siwoo Kim, because if you remember the President's Cup last year, he holed that shot and he did the Steph Curry move. So that's my sleeper pick.
All right, so Craig just gave the majority of the field for a sleeper pick. TJ, one pick, not 5, one pick.
Well, I guess he may not classify as a sleeper, but are we doing a youngster here eventually?
It can be a young. I don't know. This is just your sleeper. Although I did probably put that out there, so it can be one. It can't be.
You did, yeah. I did. You know what? Okay, here's.
Let's go sleeper. Hey, let's go.
It's an odd sleeper because he's one of the highest ranked guys in the field,
which means it's not a sleeper.
OWGR, Denny McCarthy.
Dang it!
At some point, he's going to win.
Why do you people keep
like my list? Like, you guys took all my names, like everything I have. Those 3 names written down. That's just like incredible.
Great minds, Duke. Great minds.
So, Todd, talk about that a second, because I'm not kidding. I have Denny McCarthy as well, and we had Andrew on the show last week, and it was right after Denny committed, and he's been so good here. And he's played well here. And he's one of the best putters you can. When that thing gets rolling, he gets rolling. I think Denny McCarthy, and Andrew even talked about, he's talked with Denny about eventually he thinks he's going to win here. And he lives in the house, and he stays in the championship's house. Todd, go ahead. Denny's good.
Yeah, it's a birdie fest out here, right? Everybody knows you have to make a lot of birdies, and we'll get to the score probably here in a minute, what the final score may be, but he can make birdies. That guy can, especially at a course that's not too long. He can make birdies. He can roll the rock. Our greens are really good right now. So that's a guy that could probably go really low here, and he's probably trending with some confidence right now.
Yeah, no, well said. I think it's going to be okay. I'll go youngster, and I'll start with Todd, because I did mention youngsters. So, is there a young gun? Obviously, we've talked about Jackson, Koiven. Anybody else young gun? There's a lot of them, not just anybody else. But Todd, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we've already talked about him, and he's on my list, which has been written down since an hour ago. But Luke Clanton, how can you not go with Luke Clanton right now? The guy's playing amazing right now, and he's I guess he's a young gun. He's only a year, not even a year, less than a year. So I think he's eager. He's hungry. He's ready to do something.
Yeah. TJ.
Clanton, was going to be Potgieter, but after his win up at Rocket, I don't think he's got it in him 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to go Luke Clanton as well.
Craig, the old grizzled veteran, give us a young guy.
Well, I think Thorbjornsen would qualify as a young guy. I already picked him, but and since they picked and Clanton obviously is a contender, but I'm gonna go really outside the box. A guy who had his card through PGA Tour Accelerated 2 years ago and just bombs it. Who maybe figured out a little bit. He finished way down the list at Detroit, but I'm gonna say Gordon Sargent out of left field. He's making his 3rd professional start, he's a very talented player.
No, I would agree. Okay, so I'm going to do rapid fire, and then we'll let you guys go to bed because you're all so busy this week, and we're recording this. Yes, it's a Monday show, but we're recording this on Sunday.
We're old.
Yeah. Well, if Todd keeps on drinking, that wine, he's gonna put himself to bed here in a second.
He's already turned out the lights.
All right.
Looks like he's got a nice deck to sleep on. Might as well enjoy it.
So some rapid fire. We'll go clockwise with this and start with Todd and go around. Okay, I got to go in the best order for this. Will there be a playoff? Yes or no, Todd?
Probably, but I'm going to say no because we have concerts to put on.
TJ?
Yes.
Craig?
Can you see Zach Brown waiting to start today after that playoff? I think that thing ended 5 minutes before we came on, turned on the Zoom. So
yeah,
that would not be good. But yeah, there's obviously a history of it. Like I said, Deere Run produces great finishes and close events, and we've had some pretty epic playoffs with Spieth winning twice in a playoff, Stricker winning in a playoff, Zach winning with an incredible shot in the playoff.
I thought you said this was rapid fire,
Yeah,
Randazzo.
it is.
Craig,
It is.
Never
Rapid
rapid fire
fire.
when you give me a mic.
Greg, if that's your rapid fire, you can't be my starter anymore. You get everybody late to the tee box. You're killing me, man.
Well, that's why, it backs up a little bit because I won't stop telling these guys stories about Matthew Wolf hitting it to 6 feet and first
So,
tee.
Craig, is this a yes? Are you saying yes?
I'm saying maybe.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah.
All that for a maybe. Nice, DeVrieze.
So
Yeah.
I'll say yes because, and you guys will all get mad. Todd's right. There's a concert to be had. You guys will be under deadlines for the first time in 25 years. I have no deadlines on Sunday night, and so
man.
I mean, why not? The more golf, the merrier. Let's go. So I think yes. Although they probably got it out of their system. I think they got out of their system. This is now. Somebody asked me this one today, and it annoyed me. So I'm going to bring it to you guys. And it wasn't like, well, because we weren't far away from will Zach win this thing, and I'm a huge Zach Johnston fan. And somebody asked, will Zach make the cut? And that kind of ticked me off because like it shouldn't be to that point where you're asking, is Zach going to make the cut? But I'm going to give it to you guys. Zach will be here for the weekend, won't he, Todd?
I think so. I mean, I think the cut will be lower. It's going to be probably 2 or 3 under. So that's what he's got to do. I think he can do that.
I don't know if he'll be watching this week, but Zach has texted me and he does watch he listens to the show. He's a Hawkeye fan, and so go ahead, tell Zach he's not going to make the cut, TJ.
You really want me to?
I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest.
I don't know. This guy, he comes out here. You never expect him to be there, but he can play this course in his sleep. So him shooting, a couple of 300 pars, he's good. He makes the cut.
Okay. You can't say maybe this time, Craig.
No, I'll say yes. He showed a little form this week, and he is a great player on this golf course, especially horses for courses. I mean, the record that he had, if it wasn't for Stricker, he would have won maybe a couple more, and Spieth. So, yeah, he had a run of 5 out of 6 where he finished top 3. That's pretty doggone good. I think last year was maybe the first time he didn't make the cut. So, he makes the cut.
Yeah. I almost used him as my guy. I almost had him as my sleeper. Because I like the guy that much. So, plus he knows this course like the back of his hand. Forever, he didn't shoot under par. What was that streak? You guys probably know that off the top of your head. Do you know that streak of? No.
It's in the book.
It's in the book. Hold on, give me one.
Yeah, it was
a time when he
pushing
put so much
30 rounds or something like that.
Hopefully Zach's listening right now on his way from Cedar Rapids and his event down to the Quad Cities, and he's like yelling at the thing, and he sees you guys and he yells at you at the press conference whenever he talks this week as well. Okay, last one, then I'll let you guys go. What number wins this one this week? Todd should have an advantage because all he does is golf a Deere Run. That's what he does. Like he golfs like 36 a day. So what do you think?
I had a number in my head. I'm just trying to think of the weather, but I'm gonna say, I'll say 21 wins it.
TJ.
23.
Craig.
25.
Ooh, I had 22. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, what Davis Thompson did last year was pretty spectacular. 28 under par, and there are a lot of guys within range there too. So they're going to go low here. If the weather, if it gets a little firmer and faster, it'll probably be closer to what Todd said. But it won't be less than 20. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I want to remind everybody, check out all of Craig's stuff. Craig, tell people how you can check out your content this week when you're out at the John Deere Classic. We'll start with you.
I'll be writing for PJTour.com, and if there's not a 7-hour playoff, I'll probably put something up on QC History's blog. So
love it.
You can find me.
TJ, you are the official newspaper of the John Deere Classic, I think now. I think it's you, but you're going to be busy. Tell people how they can check out TJ's stuff.
Dispatch Argus, Quad City Times.
Absolutely. And
we'll have you covered all week.
Todd, you don't know this yet, but I'm gonna bug you throughout the week. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get you to come back on one more time. Well, I know you're busy.
I did such a great job with everything else here and the camera and
well, here's the beauty part.
Video. I mean, I really killed it.
You don't know this yet, but I'm going to be doing the show out at Deere Run on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
Cool.
We'll let everybody know throughout the week the location of where the show is going to be. I'm excited about it. It should be a bunch of fun. But if I get my way, Todd will be back on. Hopefully, not looking like he's going to tell a ghost story. I feel like an animal is going to come up from behind and like attack you right now.
I know.
I'm worried.
I know.
So, but boys,
turn on some more lights,
Yes, but will he have the glass of wine in his hand still?
well, yeah.
I would
That's the
predict
question.
yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, boys, this has
I
been a
guarantee
ton of.
you, if you're looking for me, just follow the smell.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say.
Follow the
That's what they
stogie.
say about TJ too, but it has nothing to do with a cigar. Like that's
You're
just
right
a
about
different.
that.
So the beauty part, guys, is I used to do this kind of stuff in a
Man.
previous life.
How do I get out of this? Pull my camera.
Hold on.
Just end it right there.
I used to do this in a previous life, and I could have like 5 minutes to talk to you guys. And now the fact that this has gone 45, almost 50 minutes is awesome. I think it's great. I've enjoyed the heck out of it. It's the inaugural off the air John Deere Classic preview segment, and I think we killed it. So I appreciate you guys all. I'll see you out here at the course this week. Yeah, we
can
kicked
say
it
that word.
all the time.
You can see that on YouTube.
Yeah, the beauty part is I told Craig the first time he was on, I said, you can cuss. And he comes out just dropping haymakers left and right. It was a beautiful thing. So, boys, I'll see you out at the course, and we'll catch up again real soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. See you,
right,
boys.
see you
Thank
soon.
you.
All right. That is Todd Hajduk, Craig DeVrieze, and Tom Johnston getting ready to cover this year's John Deere Classic. I hope that helped. I don't think it hurt. Hopefully it was entertaining at least. You can laugh at us. But we got a lot to get to when it comes to the John Deere Classic. And as we mentioned, we'll be out on the course at Deere Run. Not on the course, but out at Deere Run Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week off the air with Matt Randazzo. We got a lot more to get to. Tom Kakert is next to talk some Hawkeyes and a busy week last week in Iowa City. That's next right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that. X is always good to us as well, so thank you for that as well. And also, you can check out all the shows, including the podcast forms of the shows right now on all your podcasting platforms. So do that ASAP. Boy, that last commercial for Godfathers reminds me that I'm going to be heading to Godfathers on Wednesday, I believe, with this handsome fellow right here. Tom Kakert joins me right now. Tom, I want to point that out because Godfathers and Andy Furman, such a great sponsor of the show. If you're going out to the John Deere Classic and you're leaving after a great day of golf and you want to get something to eat, swing by Godfathers right there in Silvis. Great new location, newer location. Great dining area, drive through if you want to just pick up a pizza on your way out. Fantastic food. Say hi to Andy and tell him that OTA sent you. It's good food, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like a mile from the gate. I mean, it's easy to get to. Great pizza, great people. So yeah, stop on out.
I think we may be stopping over on Wednesday with a friend of ours, so we'll make sure.
Hopefully Wednesday.
Yeah, so we'll make sure to tell Andy hi when we get there as well. So I encourage any and everyone that watches OTA and you're heading out to the John Deere Classic this week, hit up Godfathers over there in Silvis. Andy's a fantastic human being. Speaking of fantastic human beings, Tom Kakert joins us now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Tommy, I'm scurrying because I did show prep, but I didn't do enough of it, and I want to get to it. But we're going to go over there's some lines out for Iowa football, which always has me intrigued. But before we get to that, a lot of availability the last couple weeks for the University of Iowa, especially the basketball programs. The men have had 2, I want to say, and the women had 1 last week as well. Because I'm lazy and blew off Thursday and Friday to go follow my kid playing baseball. I guess we'll start ladies first. What did you learn from that group? I know Kyle was up there as well. What kind of things stood out when it came to the women? I think they met on Thursday last week.
Yeah, they weren't doing a whole lot of basketball, like getting up and down the floor or anything. It's a lot of install. So Hannah Stolke was not there. She made the USA basketball team, so she is busy with that right now. So she was not there. I was really impressed with Emily Rodriguez, the transfer from Florida. She just looks really comfortable out there. I think she's got a chance to start at the 3 spot. Jan's going to have an interesting decision to make because there's really I think 3 players competing for 2 starting spots at the 2 and 3 with Kylie Furbach and Addie Deal and Emily Rodriguez. So I don't know how that's going to shake out, but Kyle and I were talking about that last night, that I think Rodriguez starts, and he's worried about the fan revolt. If Addie Deal doesn't start, people are going to be melting down. And Kylie's probably got to start. You assume that Chit Chat Wright is going to end up starting at point guard, but maybe Addie Deal starts at point. Jan's got a lot of options. She's got more size with Layla Hayes. I'm interested in this team, but I want to see it with Hannah out there because she is she's the best player. So it's going to build around her, Ava Hayden, and the other thing and Kyle and I were talking about this last night, the shooting is going to be kind of the key because there's really only one shooter, if you will. There's other people who can shoot and can get hot, but other than Taylor McCabe, They don't have like this knockdown 3-point shooter on the team.
No, it'll be interesting to see the new looks, and Hannah playing well. I think 7 points yesterday in the game she played. So
5 and 5, and then had 7 and 5 in the other game. So
yeah. Productive Hannah Stokey like numbers with the USA on her chest.
And she's playing the 4 instead of the 5 on this team.
Audie Crooks is playing
good.
the 5, right?
Audie's on that team. The Beers girl from Oklahoma is on the team. There's another center that's on the team. So they've got like 3 centers, and then Hannah's playing the 4.
Because
so
eventually you want to see her at a 4.
They have to just play her at the 4 this year.
Yep.
If they don't, it's going to be just kind of make everything kind of confusing and messy, I think.
So you had a heck of a week when it came to some podcasts, including one with Iowa head coach Ben McCollum. So, and then you had media availability. So you got plenty of Hawkeye basketball content at the Hawkeye Report last week. What stood out with your conversation with Ben McCollum? One that you can go listen to right now, the Hawkeye Report podcast. But what stood out what'd you get out of Ben McCollum?
Good question. Just the overall vibe I've gotten from him is confidence, and establishing a culture. And I think those are the kind of the 2 things that really jump out at me. Their workouts are, you had Cooper Koch on. He talked about the vomiting after that first workout. I mean, that's just how they work. They're active, loud, and they get after it. They're supportive of the coaches, are supportive of the players. You don't see college coaches in the weight room. You usually leave that to the strength and conditioning coach, maybe a strength and conditioning staff, if you will, that's working with the players. But this team, the head coach and the assistant coaches are in the weight room shouting encouragement to the guys and getting them to work hard. And I think that's but I asked Bennett Sturtz about it the other day, and he goes, yeah, we did the same thing at Northwest Missouri State. That's just who they are. They're not changing anything. They're just working harder they've got to prepare, because it's going to be, last year they faced 5 high D1 teams, power conference teams. We went 4-1 against them. Their only loss was the final game of the year against Texas Tech. Otherwise, they beat Vandy, Miami, K-State, Mizzou during the season. Now they know they've got 20 monsters in a physical Big Ten, and that's going to be a greater challenge for them. They're going to have Iowa State, so there's 21, and they'll play in that Palm Springs thing. That's probably gets them up to 23, I would guess, from the power conference level out of 31 games. So that's Fran McCaffrey used to call it 20 monsters in the Big Ten, and he's right. I mean, they're kind of, something I wrote for tomorrow. The challenge for them, they don't have the greatest amount of size. If Cam Manuel's going to start at the 5, probably. They've got Tavion Banks. They've got Trevin Jurek as a backup center. They just don't have a lot of size on the roster, so they're going to have to make up for it in conditioning effort. And I was looking at like Sturtz's stats last year. They played some overtime games, so he 40 minutes in some games. He averaged 39.4 minutes per game last year, and mind you, the college game is 40 minutes, folks.
Yeah,
he doesn't come off the floor, so it's that conditioning and the pace that he plays at, how he controls things. It's really interesting diving into the numbers with this team from Drake last year.
I want to stick with Bennett Sturtz for a second because a way too early NBA draft on ESPN came out, and Bennett Sturtz was number 15. And I think and the more you read about it, the more you read that like they were interested in him kind of this year. Like there was a marketplace for him this year. Or there was interest, if that makes any sense. The list of Iowa first-round draft picks is the Murray boys, and that's it. The last 20 years, you gotta go back to what, AC or Ricky Davis before there's a.
Yeah.
So just to have a guy to build around that is one of the top transfers, I think it's just not thought about because it was just almost assumed that he was going to come with Ben McCollum. But then you realize that he's really good at Drake and the Player of the Year at that level. But now he's getting interest from the NBA. How good can he be in this 1 year at the University of Iowa?
You must have read my piece that's going to go up tomorrow. At the questions for the summer is how good is Bennett Sturts? Because you mentioned the ESPN thing had him 15. CBS Sports had him 14. The Athletic has him 12.
Really?
So he's a lottery pick right now. And all those teams, they wanted to get under the hood a little bit. They wanted him to go through the draft process to find out, hey, is this guy really good? I think it was smart that he didn't because he can focus on leading this team, but two, I think it leaves some of that intrigue out there for the NBA teams that they're going to be watching him closely during this season. We're going to see a steady stream of NBA scouts and GMs at Carver Hawkeye Arena or on the road this year when Iowa's playing because they want to get a look at this kid against the best competition out there, against the Big Ten on a night-to-night basis. Can you imagine the NBA scouts when Iowa and Purdue, I think, are playing twice this year, going up against Braden Smith and Bennett Sturts?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be fun to watch because those guys they might be the two best point guards in college basketball starting the year. You could make that case, and they're going to go head-to-head probably twice this year. So it's going to be fun to see how this. I'm just fascinated by McCollum taking this team from D2 to Drake and now to the Big Ten and sticking to your guns and your culture and your guys and bringing them all along. And now, is this going to work? I think it's fascinating to see if this is going to really pay off. And I think it will. I mean, there's a ESPN bracketology thing that was out the other day that has them in the field. So, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all comes together.
Yeah, I'm almost to the point where I think I'll be disappointed a little bit if they don't make the NCAA tournament. And we'll talk more about that down the road. One more basketball question before I switch to football. And I think it was probably with the main media, but Coach McCollum talked about wanting to still add if he can. He's looking at all aspects, all venues, all that stuff. All right, is that just a sales pitch? Is that just like giving fans what they want to hear? Is there a legitimate way that Iowa adds somebody of substance over the next couple months?
I think you never close the door on that as long as you've got an opening. And they've said in the past, I mean, Coach Sash was on the pod with me last month, and he said, hey, we got room. We got money. We'll have the financial resources to be able to add somebody. So it's about finding the right fit. It's about finding the right player, the right position. What do you want? I think they'd love to maybe add a backup point, but if they don't, Kale Combs will be fine running the point, I think. So, here's the other thing. Looking back at all the McCollum teams, he generally plays about 8 guys over 10 minutes a game, and that's about it. He's not a big playing 10, 11 guys. It's not his MO. So, you figure he's got his 5 starters of some sort. He's got the 5 main players that he brought over from Drake are going to play. You figure Fulgaris, Hausen, the 2 transfers, one from Robert Morris, the 6'9" kid, and then Brandon Hausen, the 6'5" wing player. And then it's probably Cooper Koch, and you're at 8. So then it starts to get crowded. So I'm just not sure where the minutes are going to be. Now, he may have to play less heavy minutes with some of his guys. That may be something that he has to adjust to. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm real interested to see the minutes and how that gets played out as well.
It was interesting, and I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't remember the exact quote, but something caught my eye with Cooper because he mentioned about getting there, being there for 3-4 years, 4 or 5 probably. And he mentioned about getting into the system and getting comfortable and waiting for some seniors to leave and then take on a huge role. And it was almost like, there's the minutes that, and I was sitting here thinking when he said it, Cooper Koch could be a starter in my mind. But I think there's the minutes thing's going to be interesting because, as you mentioned, he likes to rely heavily on the guys and play in big minutes. So that's always been a fascinating conversation with Fran McCaffrey too, which how deep his bench goes and all those kind of things as well. Let's switch to football. Before we talk gambling, which I really want to do, you had a fascinating podcast with Tim Lester and Chuck Long, couple dudes from Wheaton.
Yeah.
First, great idea. Second, what did you get out of? I want to say more Tim Lester because we know Chuck, we love Chuck, all that kind of stuff. But what were the headlines you took away from that podcast when it came from the chat that you had with Tim Lester?
How much more comfortable and ready he is for this season than he was last year at this time, where I think he was, he got thrown in the deep end of the pool and he was trying to swim, and I think he feels totally comfortable. I mean, the fascinating thing when he said that, thanks to having a couple of analysts, Warren Ruggiero is one of them, the former Wake Forest OC, that they've already got the first 3 games and their game plan pretty much in the can because they've just had those guys working on all those things. So I thought that was super interesting that those guys are so far ahead of the game. And he was like, last year, I was going week to week. I was looking at film on Sunday to put the game plan together. Now we've got it in the can for, Albany and for Iowa State and for UMass. It's all done. And that's going to benefit them. I think he feels so much more comfortable about the quarterback position, even though he hasn't had Gronowski out there on the field. I think he feels comfortable with that. I think he feels more comfortable with the offense because the team feels more comfortable with the offense. And I know he feels great about the receiver room, just the depth that he has there. So, yeah, I just think 1 year later, he feels so much more comfortable with what he's doing with the Iowa offense.
The football season right around the corner. I think last year we went into the season with, I think we probably talked about there's not too many games that Iowa wasn't favored in. Maybe 1 or 2 that they weren't. Other than that, they were favorites in most of the games last year. This year, there's 3 games already out on FanDuel right now, and Iowa's an underdog in all 3 of those games. Now, mind you, 2 of them are on the road. Iowa State. Have you looked at the lines? Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the one that brought them up.
I know. I was going to have you guess them, but I just didn't know if you had heard it or knew. So Iowa State.
No.
You looked.
No, we had a promo thing that we've been running with FanDuel for the last few months. So I have to make promo posts.
Okay.
So I find interesting things to post about to get people discussing it and potentially signing up for FanDuel on our website.
Oh, wow.
So
okay. So
I put this up yesterday.
There's 3 games. Iowa is a 2.5-point underdog to Iowa State, a 10.5-point underdog at home against Penn State, and then a 2.5 underdog on the road at Nebraska. Does any of that surprise you? Something surprises me. What jumps out to you?
The 10.5. I don't care if Penn State's the best team in the country. I will be wagering Iowa and taking 10.5. You're going to give Phil Parker and Kirk Ferentz at Kinnick Stadium 10.5 points.
Yeah,
give me that all day.
Yep.
They may get blown out, but I'll take that 9 times out of 10.
And probably a night game.
They haven't beat Iowa. Well, it might be. We'll see. Especially if it's at night. But I went back and looked because somebody's like, oh, they blew Iowa out last time they played. I'm like, that was at Happy Valley at night. It's a tough place to win at night. Just is. And Iowa. The guy's like, oh, the offense is terrible. I'm like, I think the offense is going to be fine. You know what I found out? I didn't realize this until I started looking at some of the uh, Penn State roster stuff, and I was listening to some podcasts. And remember that Ross kid from Troy? The
Yeah.
kid that scored like 3 touchdowns against Iowa, had the punt return, had 2 long bombs. He's on Penn State now.
Well,
I didn't realize that.
I knew he was in the portal, and everyone wanted him to come to Iowa because he tore Iowa up.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Penn State.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I got the really good really good receiver from Syracuse too. So they picked up some good talent at receiver, but they don't have Warren anymore. Uh, but they're better at wide receiver than they have been. However, I'm just saying, Phil Parker, 10.5 points, give me that all day. I'll take that every day because I know Phil's going to have them ready.
Yeah, I would completely agree. That's the first thing that stood out is it's really hard to have Iowa being a double-digit underdog at home. And I know Penn State's supposed to be really good, but it's still. Iowa State, 2.5. That's a pick 'em on the at a neutral site. That makes sense, right? And same with Nebraska. If they're on a neutral site, they're getting the 2.5 for being at home, but it's basically a pick 'em, right?
Yeah, and I liked the total in the Iowa Penn State game. I take the over in that. I think it was 46.5.
What about 45 in Iowa State? Normal years, and I would hammer the
Is it
heck.
45? Okay.
45.5 for Iowa State, Iowa.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was 46, but I guess it's 45.5. Yeah, I'd take the over. Normally I would be under in that game, but I think both offenses are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So
no, I would agree.
that'll be Iowa State's third game, by the way.
Because they're
playing in the Farmageddon over in Ireland, and then they play South Dakota. Tricky game, by the way. I would be on South Dakota in that game. Coming back from Ireland, you got Iowa State the next week. Traditionally, Iowa State kind of sleepy spot for them when they play those FCS games at Jack Trice. So you're probably going to get a hefty point total.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah,
but
they're not
I will
losing,
be on South
but
Dakota.
they're probably not covering. I agree with that as well. The
Correct.
4th of July is Friday, Tom, and everyone knows about
Yes.
the infamous or famous. I don't know which one you want to go with.
I don't know that everybody knows.
I'm telling everybody, and now they know.
Okay.
I just got mentioned on here.
Okay.
Tom's fearless forecast every single 4th of July. How many years have you done it?
And some bold predictions. I think it's been since 2004 that I've done this.
So
and it
you
was
have
just out of boredom. I was trying to figure out something to do around content around 4th of July, and so I'm like, well, let me just throw my prediction out there and see if people get interested in it. And it's evolved into like also 10 bold predictions for the season. I'm going to add in like 10 players that will emerge this season, to players to watch. So it's going to be a whole big thing.
Okay. So the over-under for Iowa win total is still at 7.5, right?
Yeah, take the over.
You're going to be over it. Okay.
Hey, we're doing the over-under pod next week, by the way.
So what Tom and I do with our good friend Chad Leistico is we set the lines, don't we? You do.
No, I use the lines from Circuit usually.
Okay. And then we go from there, and it's a ton of fun, a lot of fun. But can you give us? I know you haven't done everything yet. Can you give us one bold prediction or no, like a little appetizer?
No, I haven't really. I can't do it yet
because you don't know them yet.
Can't do it. I do know some of them. I know angles that I'm going to take, but I don't know like specifically what I'm gonna go over. But I will boldly predict that Iowa will have a quarterback that throws over 2,000 yards for the first time since Nate Stanley was under center.
That's crazy that it's been that long.
And Iowa will have a wide receiver that catches an individual wide receiver that goes over 500 yards for the first time since Amir Smith-Marset
That's
It's
crazy
crazy.
numbers. The crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Um,
20, and we're talking 2019.
Yeah. Well, the Stanley stuff. I mean,
That's
yeah,
us.
it's been forever. Okay, so will you at least give me a prediction for the John Deere Classic before I let you go?
Zach Johnson in a route.
You're a homer and you're just placating is all you're doing. Because
No.
you know that
You
this
know,
is Zach's favorite podcast to listen to. You know.
No, my podcast is the favorite one he listens to.
So,
But-
and Andy's probably going to listen to this one because it's got the John Deere Classic preview and Tom Kakert. So it's got John Deere Classic and Iowa.
Well,
Sports.
remember who I picked? Who did I pick at the Masters? I picked
can't
Zach
remember.
Johnson,
He played well.
and he finished top 10. He finished top 10.
Yeah, no, I think he'll play well. I think he'll make the cut. I think he'll play well. He always does. If not Zach, who else?
That's a good question. He's the only guy I know that's in the field. So
No, stop.
You know who Ricky Fowler will not make the cut.
Ooh,
That's my other bold prediction.
wow. You better.
He's scuffling.
Andrew's watching this, saying he better. Although, no,
I know Andrew. Yeah, Andrew Lehman's probably cursing me right now.
Yes, no.
But that's okay.
But yeah, like they got some great big names, and then they also have like a really solid field of good golfers. So it should be a ton of fun. And you'll be out there Wednesday.
Yeah, gonna go out. TJ Hawkinson and Riley Moss are gonna be out there, so I'll be out there Wednesday. I'll be out there for the weekend probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like going out there. It's fun.
Yeah, it is a blast. Make sure you get out there. If you go out there, make sure you check out Godfathers as you go out there. And then we'll be out there as well. Off the air, we'll be out there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll be out there on the weekend as well. It's kind of nice, Tom, because usually I'm starting my 100-plus hour work week. And I'm not doing that this year, which is fun.
Does it feel weird? Does
little-
it feel weird?
A little bit. I talked to my wife this morning. I'm like, usually, because I have my Mondays I did this, Tuesdays I did this, and exactly everything going on. My partner in crime, Wheezy, I missed that. But no, there's something to be said about talking about it and covering it than sweating my butt off and doing all that kind of stuff.
Hey,
as
can
well.
I mention one other thing?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the day where Rivals becomes part of On3.
That's right.
So it'll be a big day for us. We've got a lot of content that we're going to be rolling out. We're just doing our job, but we're going to, try and more eyeballs are going to be on what we do, and kind of Tanner and Kyle and Blair and I have all got a bunch of content that's going to be rolling out tomorrow. Just doing our regular job. I know we're going to be at women's basketball tomorrow as well. And also On3 just hired Brett McMurphy, who's one of the best college football insiders out there and breaks a lot of news over the years. So thrilled to have him. And things are great. We're taking on Rivals. So what's going to happen is our high school coverage, like the rankings and all that stuff, is going to be under the Rivals umbrella, and the On3 umbrella will be NIL, portal, business of college sports. So all that stuff will be under the On3 umbrella, but we're all going to be under the same umbrella. They're all going to be part of the On3 network. So it's going to be fun. We'll get to reunite with a lot of old friends from Rivals and work with some great people again. But also continue to work with great people at On3. So it's just going to make us even bigger, better, and stronger for the future.
Yeah, no, it should be really, really good as well. So, all right, Tommy. Well, and we chat often. I got cranky on social media yesterday, and I have a little rant, and we're going to get to that rant, a little explanation and rant coming up right after the break.
I want you to name names. I want you to name names, because that's the only way. Shaming people is a great way to.
I have friends that say names should be named. I have a wife that thinks I should take the high road. I'll probably listen to the wife, but names of teams will get talked about.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah.
You got to.
I would name the program. Just name the program.
Oh, that's not an issue. Done.
You'll probably get heated up, if you will.
No, that's not the one though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll explain. It's
All
a
right.
it's a whole big thing. Plus, it was also a big weekend in the Randazzo household because there was a birthday, and not in the household, but in the family. So we got that to get to. Tommy, we'll see you. We'll see you out at the course tomorrow. We're gonna head out tomorrow, right?
Maybe.
Just say
Maybe.
yes. Just say yes.
I got a busy day tomorrow. Kyle's bugging me to be in Iowa City.
What, does he
I've
need to
got,
hold his hand? Come on. He's a big... No, I'm kidding. I love Kyle. So, all right, Tommy, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. We'll talk. Bye.
All right. And we got more to get to here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. As I mentioned, I got to get some stuff off my chest. We'll do that right after this. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Hey, Quad Cities, you looking for a night of action, unity, and appreciation? We've got something special for you. Saturday night, June 28th, join the Quad City Steamwheelers for Military Night as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. We're honoring our heroes. All active duty and former military get in free. It's football, community, and a chance to show gratitude. Bring your family and friends for a night to remember. Get your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. Let's stand together and cheer together.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. If you watch or listen to the show, you'd probably know that I have 4 boys. They all play baseball. So our lives kind of revolve around youth baseball. If it's a weekend, you'll probably find my wife or myself at a youth baseball diamond somewhere here in the Quad Cities, or even in the Midwest. This past weekend, I went to Indiana with my 10-year-old Chase. Chase had a great weekend. Loved watching him play. Great job, buddy. But I really just wanted to enjoy the weekend in Indiana with Chase, watching him play baseball. So I didn't get on social media a lot. I posted 2 things all weekend. One for a very good reason, which we're going to get to in a second. And then one because I had to had to get something off my chest. So, as many of you know, my oldest son, Charlie, who plays baseball, who's played a lot of baseball, umpires down at the Hitman Complex ever so often on the weekends. It was the 8U Coach Pitch Brian P. Rangel Memorial Tournament. It's a tournament, great event, great tournament that every team that gets in for free. There's no entry fee into the tournament. So it's an awesome event. And Charlie was coaching, or I should say umpiring, there all weekend. And on Sunday morning, I'm in Indiana getting ready to watch Chase play. And I get several phone calls and text messages letting me know that Charlie's been involved in one of those incidences that people talk about when it comes to youth baseball. So I hopped on social media and figured I wouldn't rant and rave and get cranky, but I just put a simple message out there, and it said, if you're a coach of an 8U Coach Pitch team that argues any or every call by a 15-year-old umpire busting his ass off for 13 hours on an extremely hot day, then you're the problem. Thanks for reading. Have a great Sunday. So let me explain what happened. Of course, Charlie's umpiring early in the morning, and this happens to tons of umpires, not just my kid, but tons of umpires. But I want to get the name out there. He was umpiring in a game with the Mahomet Diamond Dogs, and they had coaches and parents, especially the coaches, the head coach, that figured they could bully a 15-year-old kid. That was their hope. They wanted to win that baseball game. Winning was the most important thing. So they figured they could yell at, curse, berate a 15-year-old kid busting his butt off on the weekend, trying to make some money, trying to help young kids play the game because there's nobody else looking to umpire. So a 15-year-old kid has to go do it. And you know what? He's doing a good job. And so they figured they could do those kind of things. And it just got out of hand. I mean, like I mentioned, he was yelled at, berated, cursed at, all of those kind of things that just drive me absolutely crazy. Those coaches, those parents put winning first. And that's the problem. It should be about development. How about handling adversity? How about if there is a bad call, which is going to happen for your entire life, learn how to deal with that adversity instead of yelling and screaming at a 15-year-old kid. How about just simply being respectful? Being respectful to a kid working really hard to make sure that your kids get to play the game they love. The problem is that a lot of these coaches are dads, and I've coached, I get it, but they're reliving their glory days through their kids. They care about winning. They want that medal. They need to get that medal, that trophy. I got boxes of medals and trophies in my house. If you guys want them, come get them. I'll give you the address. It's not about that. It's developing kids to play the game because the ultimate goal is not playing baseball and winning a tournament when you're 8 years old. I promise you. And trust me, I'm competitive. You know, you like to see your kids do well. I'm proud when my kids do well. But there's a way to do it correctly and respectfully. And the best part of social media was, so I put that up there, and then I looked like 2 hours later, and it was just blowing up, being shared, all that kind of stuff, which I didn't put it up there to have that happen. I just figured it was the best way to get some things off my chest, and it went crazy. And of course, a lot of people jump on and they say, yeah, that's horrible, that's terrible. And I'm not saying that they don't agree with that, but I'm just hoping that they're not the same people that are typing and saying that's horrible, that's terrible, and then doing the same crap next weekend or the weekend after that or the weekend after that. Like, it's easy to say, hey, it's stupid when you're not involved and you're not doing it, or you're reading it on a computer or a social media site. Just don't do it, because the problem is there's no umpires at the youth level, and it's going all the way up. I mean, think back to the fall. We played football games for the high schools on Thursdays because there's not enough referees, officials, umpires to get these games done when they're supposed to. They're working extremely hard. I promise you, Charlie had no skin in the game when it came to the Mahomet Diamond Dogs. And I want to get that name out there. The Mahomet Diamond Dogs. Great organization. Classy organization. Because he had none. He is so serious about doing what he's doing that he's probably too serious about it and doesn't, enjoy it as much as he should. Now, obviously, this can be a dad ranting and raving because something crappy happened to his kid. And it is, in a way, I get it, but it's not. It's about the culture that's going on around youth sports and sports in general. It has to stop. I have Don Numland on here all the time. I know a lot of umpires, referees, officials around the area. I like giving all of them a hard time. I like making fun of Jason Foy and Kevin Ferris and Sergio, all those guys. I love it. But we need them. And they're adults. They can handle that stuff. They shouldn't have to, but they can handle it. These are 15-year-old kids all over the diamonds yesterday, umpiring so that your kids can play baseball. And that's the way you act. It's really, really, really bad. So be better, people. Simply be better. Don't be that guy. And you know what? If you watch somebody being that person, say something. I'm not calling for fights or anything like that, but say something. Stop them, because these 15-year-old kids don't deserve that. They ain't making enough money to umpire the game and deal with quote-unquote adults acting like idiots. So that's my bad social media rant for the past weekend. I do have a good one I need to get to that I put up on Saturday, because on Saturday, this lovely woman turned 80 years old. This is my amazing mom, Eva. She turned 80 years old this past weekend. We're going to celebrate with her big time in August because, of course, all of her grandkids were running all over the place, playing sports and all that kind of things. But talk about an amazing mom, is there to do anything and everything that her family needs, her kids needs. Her 7 grandkids adore her to death, and why wouldn't they? They get spoiled nonstop. So, and if you're wondering, you're looking at the picture and you're saying, well, that's not true, she's not 80, because she don't look it. You're right. She's as active and as healthy as ever. And trust me, as I put in the social media post, we put that to the test each and every day. She's always out checking out things that her grandkids or kids are doing. So I know it's a couple days late because we don't do shows on Sunday, Mom, or Saturday, Mom. But happy birthday. Love you, and can't wait to celebrate in a big time way with you coming up later on this summer. So if you happen to know my lovely mom, Eva, and you haven't already done so, wish her a very happy 80th birthday. We got more to get to on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be back right after this. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and welcome to Mobile Party Experience. Excited to have them as a sponsor and a partnership with OTA. Excited about what's to come with Mobile Party Experience and some things and some ideas we have coming up for this football season and everything as well. But if you're getting ready for, a birthday, 4th of July, those kind of things, football season is right around the corner. Go check out my-mpx.com or give them a call, 563-514-1470, and get yourself a party trailer for your next event. Make it a bigger event than it already was before. Trust me, it's well worth the call, and make sure you do that ASAP. It's been a fun show. Obviously, the John Deere Classic is here. John Deere Classic Week is here with the Pro-Am coming up on Wednesday, and then play begins Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then we'll crown a new JDC champion on Sunday. We will be out at the course for Off the Air Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So make sure you tune in to those shows as well. And we will have a lot of fun when it comes to covering the best sporting event in the Quad Cities, the John Deere Classic. Also, we are going to put up right after the show our OTA JDC Pick'em contest. Simply go to my social media and give me a winner, give me the final score. Winner will get a signed pin flag from Davis Thompson last year, a bobblehead from him as well, and maybe a little bit more. We're going to add to and spice up the package a little bit. But we thank Andrew Lehman, the John Deere Classic, for that donation as well, so we can have a little fun. So get your picks out. If you are just joining us, we want to thank Craig DeVrieze, Tom Johnston, and Todd Hajduk. Three of the best in the business to talk about this year's John Deere Classic. That's what we spent the first hour doing. Picks, why the field's so good, who's going to win it, sleepers, young guns, all that kind of stuff. Go check it out. If you missed it, we want to thank those three for joining me and getting us ready for the John Deere Classic coming up, teeing off for real on Thursday. Also, Tom Kakert was here as well, chatting about the Iowa basketball program, women's basketball program, a little football as well. So we caught up with our good friend Tom Kakert as well. A lot more to get to throughout the week. One more show here in the studio at home, and then we'll be out on the course coming up later this week, hoping to catch up with Celia Palermo, Claire Peterson, Andrew Lehman, obviously busy right now, but we'll catch up with him throughout the week as well. Michaela with Birdies for Charity, a few other things we're working on for this week as well. So a big week of the John Deere Classic. Get your pick in. It's free to do. Get your pick in, see if you can win yourself some cool stuff. And then also, if you're heading out to the John Deere Classic, check out Godfather's Pizza. Right out there, great sponsor of the show in Silvis, right there by the TPC course. I believe myself and Tom Kakert and a few others are going to stop by there on Wednesday evening as well. So check out Godfather's right near the course, a great sponsor here of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo as well. So if you missed today's show, go check it out. It's on YouTube. It'll be up on podcasting form here real soon. Check out all the shows from last week as well. Last week was a ton of fun. Shauna Green was on the show, Cooper Koch, Logan Lee, a lot of great stuff from last week as well. So go check that out. Get ready for the John Deere Classic. I want to thank you guys for watching this week, and we'll be back with another episode of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo coming up tomorrow. We will see you then. Have a great Monday.